I don't understand how a writer would ever get writer's block, so called. My problem is having too much.
Yeah, for sure. I write Rust or Rustone. The crews I hold down are just for kills and can't hold back. When and how did I first start getting up in graph? When was in 1993. 1993 is when I first started tagging on shit. I used to tell people that I started writing in 96 though, because when in 93 all the way to 96, when I was getting up, if I would meet other writers, they would say, oh, you write what you write. And then I tell them what I write, and they just look at me and be like, oh, that's cool. You know, like, so I knew they hadn't seen my shit. You know what I mean? So in 96, that was when if I met somebody, a writer, and then he was like, what you write? And then I told him what I wrote. That's when people were like, oh, like I seen that shit, I seen that up, or I seen it downtown, you know. So that's, I used to tell people I started writing in 96, but I started getting up in 93. I'd say me and the homie Oops, me and him used to go into these alleys behind our house and the neighborhood. Just tag up the alleys, tag up the abandoned houses, or tag up these big ass trash bins they used to have. And my homeboy Oops, he was really good at characters. Like he could draw really good. But I just wanted to write my name on shit. But me and another homeboy, Rare One, he was the one that like me and him used to go on missions. Like he was the one I went on the first mission with. Like he was the one that like we used to get up. That was like my first like graph partner right there. We used to get up and we didn't even know graffiti was a thing. We didn't know that like getting your name up was an object, you know, like, or had anything to do with hip hop. We already liked hip hop music and shit and gangster rap, but like we didn't know anything about graffiti at all. One day he came to my house and he's like, hey man, like I met this older cat. This dude's name is Cover, and he's a writer. That's what you call it, a writer. So I didn't even know, you know, we didn't even know what was up with that. So we were like, all right, like writers, that sounds dope, you know what I mean? Like we're writers and shit. So he was already an established writer. That was Cover One CHB, which is the founder of the crew that I'm in right now. And he was the one that put us up on game about graffiti. Like he was the one that told us that, you know, it was about letters, it was about style, like having a style, having your own style. That even though graph don't really got rules, it still kind of got rules. Like it's got an etiquette, you know, like who you're not supposed to go over, you know, like where you can and can't get up at, like, you know, that type of shit. I want to say big up to Cover because shit, man, you helped me put me on my path, G, you know what I mean? So big respect. Who and which artist inspired me? Well, growing up, all the OGs in my city used to inspire me for sure. And luckily, almost all of them are still painting and still inspiring. We got Nist, Post, Peso, Par, Work, Cover, Fat, Nesio, Static, TSK, Toker, Solar, Kid. Then you got dudes that was crushing the yards that inspired me, like Dyer, Ember, Catch, Curse, Erupto, Glue, Timber, MFK, the real Timber, not this goofy ass fool, fights, names, styles, and characters. Then you have people that were inspiring everybody, you know, like Ty, Saber, Dyer, Lumet, Sweat, just a whole bunch of people. And of course you got crewmates, you know what I mean? Painting with the homies always inspires you right then. You know, you take a step back to peep how your shit's coming out, and then you just happen to look over and see the homie, like, oh shit. Now I gotta come up with something on the spot and try to flavor my shit up, you know what I mean? So the crew is always an inspiration, you know what I'm saying? And real quick, I did want to give credit to the homie Forma. Yo, this homie was a direct inspiration to my entire style, painting and tagging. Yo, this bro for real used to show me a brand new piece every day at school for like 3 years straight, and almost never the same style. He still paints too, like commission walls and shit. Writing or painting, which is my true passion? Come on, man. Writing, G. You already know, man. Writing for sure. You know, I'm a train bomber. I love to crush trains. I love to go into the yards. I love to destroy shit. I like to creep around like a ghost and just get shit while ain't nobody out. But I love to do that shit on the streets too. So, shit. If I gotta choose one, man, writing all day. That's what's up. When I first started writing, how was the graph scene in my hood, and how is it different now? It's different in a few ways. Mainly the internet shit. Internet shit changed everything, for good and for bad. You know, it's like it's good because it lets everybody spread their shit around. It lets a lot of people see your stuff in all kind of places. But it's bad in the sense that one guy can do one piece, take one picture, send it to his 15 homies. They can all post that on their on their Instagram account, and you know, it's just it looks like it's like that fool bombs, but really it's just one piece. And I mean, that's cool. It's cool in the sense that everyone gets to see it, but it kind of gives a false sense of you're getting up. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't getting up that much because there's only one picture of it. Like, if all 15 of those homies all had different pictures of it, then maybe it's a little different. But for the most part, man, it's the same picture and you're just spreading it. So it's good and it's bad. But the graph scene on the street, it's the same in the sense that there's always going to be new writers. There's always going to be new youngsters coming up, new dudes that are hungry to crush and bomb and want to be the one. You know what I mean? That everybody looks up to, want to be the one that everybody sees and says, yeah, that fool kills. You know what I mean? That fool bombs. So that part is always going to be the same. It's never going to change. You'll change, but the scene ain't going to change. The other way that it's different, though, is I see a lot more legal walls up. I see people getting permission to do shit, and that's good to decorate the city and make it nice, but that shit ain't graph. You know what I mean? That's a legal wall. It's a free wall. You have permission. You ain't gonna get in trouble unless you're a dumbass that bombs and then you go and paint the legal wall with your fucking face out. You know what I mean? Then that's on you. You know what I mean? You made that mistake. But shit, it's still gonna be the same, man. Graph is gonna always be the same. It's just the people, man. The people are the ones that are gonna change. Oh yeah, and people ain't stealing shit no more. People used to steal their supplies. You know what I mean? Like, it was a dumb idea to spend money on supplies that's gonna get you arrested. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't make sense. So you rack all your shit. Like, I know what's up. I buy supplies. You know, I get shit sent to me. I order shit offline. So that's all whatever. But I mean. And don't get me wrong, man. If you don't rack, that's cool. I'm not saying that you ain't no real writer. I'm not saying that you a bitch because you don't rack your paint or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna come at you like that. That's cool, man. If you got it like that, if you got hustle to pay for your paint and to pay for your supplies, then more power to you, G. That's what's up. You know what I mean? But racking was fundamental, man. It was part of it, man. It was part of the game, man. You had to beat the homies to the spot to get the mops or to get the fat caps or to whatever it was, because once that shit was gone, it was gone. I mean, we were getting up since we was little kids. We couldn't buy shit. You couldn't order. There wasn't no online. So that's another part that's different, is that the online shit, it's good because, man, it can give you that marker in your hand right now to crush, which is good. I just wish I had that shit when I was growing up. You know what I mean? Like, shit, it would have been different. So does graph still have the same meaning for me as it did when I started? Yeah, fuck yeah. Graph still has the same meaning for me because graph is never gonna change. You can't change graph no matter what. You're gonna change. You're gonna have kids. You're gonna have a job. You're gonna have priorities that you worry about more than you care about graph. Graph is always gonna be the same. It doesn't matter how the styles evolve. It doesn't matter how the tools evolve. It doesn't matter how many fools start doing it, how many fools stop doing it. It don't matter. You're never gonna get around the fact that graffiti is about one thing: letters. It's illegal. It's about bombing. If you ain't about bombing, if you ain't about that shit, then you ain't about graph. I don't give a fuck if you call yourself an artist. Go and do that pretty ass mural shit in a spot where it's not supposed to be, and watch how the cops snatch your ass up something vicious. It don't matter, G. Graph's always gonna be the same.
Best moments? Oh, there's a lot of those, man. Probably just like full-on rack sessions, like early in the morning, hitting up all the paint spots. There's like a lot of times it's these college kids, they've been partying all night, they're hungover as fuck, so they barely got their eyes open. Like, we're able to get in, fill up, and just slide out, no problem. Then just heading downtown, doing some daytime bombing, like running into other crews, blunts, beer, bombing. And as soon as it starts to get dark, just get your bags ready and shoot out to the yards. And we're just in there like 4 deep, just crushing hard, not seeing a single worker all night long. Then just walking out the yards with all our cans in our bag, just emptied, all the markers crushed. Get to the car, victory blunt on the way home, do it all over again the next day. Those are the best, man. You feel good, you feel accomplished, you know what I'm saying? You putting in work for yourself, for your name, putting in work for the crew, yeah, those are the best ones. I would say probably that very first time I got burned for graffiti real hard, where I had to change my name. Like, I'm out there, I'm putting in all this work, I'm literally making a name for myself, and then I go and get busted, and you gotta drop the name over some bullshit. That shit hurts, you know what I mean? That's a bad one. But what made that arrest worse was because even though it was my first big arrest for graffiti, like, I was already on felony probation for a weapons charge. So even though the graph was like small comparison, it was just another thing to fucking stress my family out, another thing to lock me up. So the worst part is just like the stress and shit that you put on your family because you decide you like to write on shit.
Any chase stories? Shit, yeah, man, like a lot. We might need to make a number 2 or our own series called War Stories, because yeah, I definitely got a lot of different stories that I can tell. All right, so what kind of story you want? Helicopter story? You want a helicopter story? I got a couple of those. Like, I got one where I got caught, and I got one where I got away. I mean, I'm beating the odds overall on the helicopters. I've been chased 5 times, I got away 3, and I got caught twice. So as of now, I'm beating the odds on it, but it's still not good. Yeah, so I'm probably like 15 or 16 at the time, and I'm painting this spot called the McKinley's. It's just like these walls that are just always like getting painted constantly. So yeah, I'm painting that spot. Everything was cool. I've been leaving the spot actually, and I'm going through this neighborhood. It's like this Barney ass neighborhood because there's a bunch of these like neighborhood watch motherfuckers that like to roll around through there, and they kind of already know me and shit from tagging up their neighborhood before and shit. They don't know my name or nothing, but they know how I look. So I'm going through the neighborhood, and I already know that like I gotta be cool and take it easy and not try to like bomb all hard while I'm walking through there. So I decided to go down this alley because I'm like, well, at least I can stay out the way. But after walking down the alley for a while, like, I just didn't give a fuck, and I started catching tags on these trash cans and shit. And sure enough, like, I'm like crouched down with my hand like this, like catching the tag. And here comes one of the neighborhood watch, rolls right by. They see me crouched down, like, fucking, I look like that, and they see, like, they know, you know what I mean? And I'm like, fuck. So, all right, now I gotta cut. Like, so I know I gotta get up out the neighborhood. So I just start walking like fast down the alley. So yeah, I get to the end of the alley, and there's like a school on one side. So I'm like, all right, if I hop that fence, get in the school, I can get out to where the main street is, and then I'll be cool. Like, I can just get out of their neighborhood and I'm good. So I jumped the fence to the school, and I'm in the school. So I'm walking through the school, and like, I'm not even far through the school. So straight up, I hear the helicopter coming. I'm like, what the fuck? They called the helicopter for that shit? So he must have been like in the neighborhood or something. I didn't know what was up. But yeah, it was on though, you know? So I already knew, like, yeah, I had to get out of the school, because you ain't got no chance trying to hide like anywhere in some buildings or along the sides of the buildings. The helicopter's gonna see you for sure with the light. So I already know which way I gotta go, pretty much the same way that I'm going. But if I can make it to the freeway, there's like an overpass, and if I can get over there, I can probably at least lose the helicopter. So the helicopter is straight up shining its light all through the school. It's looking all over trying to find me. I know that my best bet is to wait until the helicopter is behind me as far as he can be, like in the school looking, and then I gotta go this way, so at least I got as much chance as I can to run before they come and put the light on me. So eventually I see my chance, and they're about as far back as they can go. So I'm like, fuck it, now's my chance, just go. So I just beeline across the whole soccer field straight to like the edge of the school where it's the corner. If I hit that fence, I can go around that corner, like up the street, around the corner, and then there's the freeway overpasses. And if I can get under those overpasses, I'd be able to lose the helicopter and then possibly kill. So my neighborhood is right on the other side of that. So if I can get into my neighborhood, easier to lose the cops that way. So yeah, so like I'm running, I'm through the field. I can see like there's cop cars on the perimeter at this end, and there's nobody over here yet. So that's like the way I'm heading. And I'm not even like halfway through the field. It seemed like it wasn't even very long at all. And just like that, boom, the fucking helicopter's light is on me. So I'm running, I'm in this big ass spotlight, but I'm not gonna stop running, so I just keep fucking going. I get all the way, he's way behind me, but he's got the light on me. So I'm running to the fence. I just keep on going. Now that the light's on me, I could see the cop cars fucking coming down the road trying to cut me off because they can see which way I'm going, but I'm pretty far ahead. I get to the fence, I hit the fence, I'm down, I go up the street, and then when I get to the corner, I just bend that corner. Once I bent the corner, the spotlight was not on me no more because they were still behind me, so I like lost the helicopter. But I actually got to the freeway, and I was under the freeway, but the cop cars, boom, they rolled up on me, and that was over after that, man. I got rolled up. So like I said, I'm like 15 or 16 at the time. They take my ass to juvenile hall. I'm in there, the cops are talking shit. They're like, yeah, fucking, we got him, and you know, they're all fucking hella happy and shit. They might as well have been fucking high-fiving and shit. So they take me to juvenile hall, they're booking me in and all that shit. And they end up, you know, like I said, I'm underage, so they gotta call your parents and shit. So they call the house, and my mom is the one that ended up coming to swoop me up from juvenile hall. So she comes, and like obviously she's pissed as fuck. Like I'm in the car, she's chewing me out in the car all the way home, you know what I mean? Like, so I know I fucked up, so I'm just gonna take the yelling. I'm not gonna say shit. I mean, like, I'm lucky she even got me out, you know what I mean? She didn't have to do that shit, but you know, she always had my back and shit. So we get home, and I just go to sleep. Like, fast forward to the morning time. So my mom leaves for work in the morning, and she works in the same neighborhood that we live in. And like I said, the school was just down the way from our neighborhood, so it's all pretty much the same area. So I'm asleep, and the phone rings. I pick up the phone. So it's my mom, and she's calling from work. She's like, Mijo, when you got arrested last night, were you at school? And I said, well, yeah, I was in the school. That's not where I got arrested, but that's where I was at in the school. And like, you know, down the way where the overpass is where I got arrested at. And she goes, yeah, he was at the school. And and her coworkers in the background, they start laughing. And then I hear her coworkers say something else. And then my mom says, well, when you got arrested, did they have the helicopter on you? And so I'm like, oh shit, like, yeah, mom, they had the helicopter, like, why? And she's like, yeah, it was him. And then, so then I'm like, what was me? So basically what her coworkers told her, that last night on the news, there was 2 chases that were live on the news. One was like a high-speed car chase, and then right after that was like some graffiti kid running in a school, and it was down the street from the neighborhood, and they're like, and it looked like your son, Rusty. And because, I mean, they all know that I paint graffiti and shit. Like, I don't keep that shit a secret to nobody except, you know, I mean, the cops and shit. So apparently I was on the news, and they had me, like, the footage was me running through the field and like jumping the fence and like ditching the cops, but you know, the fact that I got rolled up afterwards and shit. So yeah, that shit was kind of crazy and shit. And then later, that's when my mom told me that's why she was so pissed off on the ride home, because the cops were like talking shit to her, like, oh yeah, he thinks he's real smart. He was hard to catch and shit, but we got him, you know, like fucking, they were all proud and shit. Like, so it just made her more pissed that they were all like talking shit, you know. So that's why I guess getting yelled at and shit so much. All right, so this other time, it's me and Phobic, and he happened to spot like this nice downtown rooftop, and it was like in a really high traffic area. It was a pretty good spot. So we go and we scope it out, we check it out, like it's a good spot, and then we leave. We come back the next day just to make sure that like how we can get up there, and we find like this drain pipe way in the alley on the backside. So we gotta climb up this little ass drain pipe to get up on top. So we go back to the pad and go get our bags ready. As soon as it gets a little dark, boom, we head out. We get to the spot, looks cool. So we climb it, we get up to the top, and it's like this whole section of different rooftops. And the section that we're trying to hit is way up against the far end all the way down, because that's the street side. That's where all the cars are going to see it. So we make our way over to the spot, we check it out, it looks all good. We decide who's going to paint where. So we're in our bags, getting our cans ready, and like that fucking fast, fucking helicopter comes, shining its light immediately. As soon as he came around the fucking corner, we heard that shit, and he was just with the light on. And luckily he didn't know exactly which rooftop we were on, because he was just shining all over the place. But he was close though, you know. And we can't even leave right now, even if we want to, because he's on that side of the building. So if we go over to where he's at, he's definitely gonna be able to spot us. So we're like ducking behind these like AC units and these like fucking small air vents or some shit, like trying to like fit like under, like to not be spotted by this fucking big ass light that's going all on every rooftop. And as he's shining around, we're like running all over, trying to dodge the light and just trying to keep away from him, at the same time trying to get to where we can get down off of the roof. And he's just circling and circling, trying to find us. And eventually he gets like right up on our group of the rooftops, and we know that now's the time. We got to get the fuck up off this roof or we're busted. So we're just like, fuck it, if they spot us or not, we gotta just get to the fucking end of the roof where we can get down at. So we're ducked down behind these AC units, and we're like, all right, G, like, you ready? And then like, go, boom, he fucking goes. I look, make sure it's cool. Boom, I go right after him. He gets to the edge, and it's not just a straight run. There's all kinds of like fucking wires and poles and all kinds of shit. So we're like obstacle coursing all the way to the fucking rooftop. He gets over there. He starts climbing down. By the time I get over there, now the fucking light is like right literally behind me. He's gonna spot me. If I try to take my time to get down off the roof proper, he's gonna see us and it's over. So Phobic is climbing down. I just fucking run, grab my hand across the top of the roof like brick, and like I run and throw my body over. And so I'm holding on, and I kind of just slam my body to the other side of the wall, and I just fall. Like I fall all the way the fuck down. I jumped pretty much off the fucking roof, fell all the way down. With a big ass bag of paint, I land, boom, like where my feet were up, and I was crunched down on my ankle, like fucked up. Then the homie drops down, like picks me up, and we just start going down the alley to the west side, towards the west side. We know that the homie lives that direction, so if we can just get over to where the homie lives at, then you know we can kind of get away. So we're running down this alley, and my ankle's fucked. Like we get up to the end of the alley, and the roads is like left, right, left, but we don't give a fuck. We're beelining through all these fields to get to the overpass. So we're running through this field, and I just start feeling it, G, hard on my foot. And I'm like, yo, man, you gotta just leave me, man. And my ankle is fucked up. Like, you're gonna get busted if you wait with me. And we're running, and he looks at me, and he's like, man, your ankle's fucked. And I'm like, yeah, G, it's fucked. It's swollen. And he's like, all right, G, well, that's a fact, right? It's swollen. So here's another fact. You can either let that shit heal up at your house, or you can let that shit heal up in the county jail. And you know what I mean? What you gonna say, G? So I kept fucking running, you know what I mean? We fucking went double time it all the way across to get to the overpass, to get to the west side. And man, we got there just in time. Like as we was coming, there's an overpass that comes down like this, and we have to run under the overpass. So as we're going this way around the overpass, the cop cars coming for us with their sirens come down. And as we're coming like this, they just barely miss us, and we're like literally ducking down, trying to fucking run under this. Hopefully they didn't see us. They pass, we take off, we get to the homie's pad. He lets us in, we tell him what's cracking, you know what I mean? He's like, all right, fuck it, get in the car. Boom, he waits, he looks outside, there's nobody. So we jump in his car, we get in his car, we get in the back seat, and we're like laying on the fucking floorboards. Fuck that, we were like laying on the floorboards. We're down fucking like this with our bags in our chest, and we're just hoping that the homie can get us to the crib. So the homie drives us through, comes out the other side, and all we can see is that fool just driving. He's like this big ass Indian cat, so he's like driving in this little car.
and I could just see him looking like this, and that fool's like smiling, hella smiling, and then he's like, "What the fuck? Yo, did you motherfuckers kill somebody or something?" There's like hella cops all over. There's a helicopter. They have a perimeter. Like, yo, then he gets all serious because I think he's passing a bunch of the cops. So he's just fucking driving and shit, and he's just, you know, whatever goes by. And then I could tell like his posture kind of lightened up a little bit. And then he's like, fuck it, bent the corner, fucking gone, man. We went to the homophobics pad, dropped him off, and then that fool dropped me at my crib. My ankle was fucking swole up, but you know what? Like, the homie told me straight up, man, you can let that shit heal at the house, or you can let it heal in the county. And you know what I mean? Like, he was right, G. Like, fuck that. You know what I mean? At least try. You know what I mean? Don't, at least try, G. Always try to run, G, for sure. Don't let the cops fucking just grab you. Like, make them earn their fucking money. Fuck that shit. Trains, walls, and bombing. Which one is more favorable to me, and why in that order? Probably number 3 is going to be walls. Walls are great because they're wherever there's people in the world, we put up walls, and us writers can paint them. So walls, because they're everywhere. Number 2 is going to be bombing because it's lots of different surfaces, multiple different surfaces that you can hit. And I've always was known for getting up in like landmarks and little cutty spots, so that's good. And then mainly because nothing really beats the same feeling as bombing active streets. So yeah, bombing's gonna be number 2. And number 1 is definitely gonna be trains, because trains, you can paint whole car fat ass trains, you can paint half car pieces, panels, you can do throw ups, tags, marker tags, pretty much everything on trains. You still have the option of possibly getting rolled up by the workers or something, so that's that. And mainly the reason why is because a train is not just sitting around waiting for somebody to walk past it and look at it. It's out there, it's rolling around, it's going across the US, it's going across Canada, it's going to Mexico, it's catching boat trips. I mean, I've been in California and I've seen a Zephyr train painted in the East Coast, right there where I'm at in Cali, and to me that shit's dope. I mean, trains are out there moving around, they're bothering people, you know what I mean? Like they're getting in front of you, in front of stoplights and shit, and they roll past you whether you want it or not. It's gonna be there. So trains, because they're out there, you know what I mean, moving around and shit. If I had to choose only 10 words to describe writing or tagging, what would those words be? Well, I would say letters, writing, bombing, illegal, free, creative, destructive, street, style, and rust. What does style mean to me? Dope letters, G. You gotta have dope letters. You can't be making up these stupid ass terms like they got now, trying to hide the fact that you ain't got letters. If you ain't got dope letters, you ain't a dope graph writer. If you're the only one that thinks you got dope letters, you ain't a dope graph writer. To me, having a style means having your own style that's original, it's good, you can do it fast, you can do repetitive, and absolutely no biting. You can lose yourself in the style, but you cannot lose the base of the letters. You gotta keep the base of the letters. You cannot be making up this bullshit ass shit that Foosby was trying to do back in the day too.
They got squashed too for trying to pull that bullshit. It's all good if you're getting up, but if you ain't got style, man, ain't nobody gonna show you no love, ain't nobody gonna show you no respect, man. You gotta build that shit. You gotta, just like you put in your hard work to get up, you gotta put in your hard work to develop them skills, man. And it's all good that when you're starting out to be inspired by somebody and sort of emulate their style, as long as you're adding on your own shit and making it different. But once you start getting better and getting more can control, that you grow out of that shit. You can't just keep biting food's shit for a long ass time and making their shit look more like theirs. Every time you see another piece from that person, you're like, oh, this dude's doing his bit shit again. You know what I mean? Like, and fools are gonna call you out on that shit, man. They're gonna blow you up about it. You're not gonna get respect. That's not how you get a legacy, G. If you want style, develop your style, man. Figure out your style. It doesn't matter. There's no one style. There's no one type of way. There's no one funk letter or whatever. There's only one style E that's dope. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many styles, man, and you just gotta find your own style.
Probably the structure first. You're gonna notice the structure of the tag. Is it set up right? Is it crazy? Is it all over the place? Is it like started like this and then started to like go down, and like a lot of people do when they start out. What I do a lot of times is I end up putting a circle around the tag, but you got to have good letters inside that circle. You can't just put some bullshit and then throw a circle on it and be like, there you go, bam, it's like a fucking dope structure now. All of a sudden, like, those letters still got to be there. You can't just fucking slide some bullshit in there, think that now your shit's dope because you threw a circle on it or square around it or a border or some bullshit. Most tags stand out for one reason or another, whether it's the biggest tag or you had the best marker with the brightest color, or if it was the ugliest tag on the wall, or if it was the best tag on the wall. So all tags are going to stand out for one reason or another. So it's up to you what your tag stands out for. And the flow in your tag, of course, that's going to be something that you're going to know right away. If the flow is good, that's definitely an eye catcher. And then I'll probably look at like the confidence that you got, the confidence of your experience. So, are you putting them letters down with confidence, or are them some shaky looking scared ass car hopper tags you out there busting? Like, you ain't got to have the dopest tag in the world with the freshest tip. You can be tagging with a stock tip and the shit's going to look dope if you know how to write, man. Yo, and it better not take, 3 minutes to catch a tag and you only got like 4 or 5 letters in your name. That's ridiculous. Where I'm at right now, the scene is personally one of the smallest I've ever encountered. That doesn't mean that there's a lack of talent, though. There's some good writers here. There's just not that many heads overall. As far as getting along goes, it's probably going to be just like any other city you go to. Like, if you come to a new city and you're going to be bombing, you got to come correct and you got to come with respect. Don't be spot jocking. Don't be side busting. I would say don't even go over anybody until you know who's who. Maybe you might have met a couple heads, or if you don't want to meet nobody, that's cool too, but you got to be careful going over people and shit. You might go to a spot and think, oh, this is a little piece right here, so I'm just going to make sure I go over it. I'm going to follow all the rules. I'm going to go all the way over it. I'm going to burn it. I'm going to do a really good piece. And I'll be cool, but you didn't know that piece has been there like 10, 15 years. It's like an OG from their city. Now you got everybody in the city hella pissed at you and they want to fuck your ass up because you done went over some old ass shit thinking that you was cool. Even then though, even if you did everything you was supposed to, you followed all the rules, you didn't go over nobody, like, you still might have somebody like trying to test you and see if you're about it or not. Like when I came guns blazing. I had markers on my carry-on, so I was ready to go as soon as I got off the plane. And I followed all the rules, I didn't go over nobody, and I still had fools trying to test to see, if I was with it or not. But good thing though, it didn't take them long for them to figure out that, I'm with the shit, so it's all good now. But to me, I think that's a good thing, that if you show up to a new city and you try to bomb, the locals are going to try to weed out the weak ass fools, like, I like that graffiti still has natural selection. So the question is, which 5 artists would I put together to create an ultimate group? First is Chaka, because of his relentless street bombing. Then Dream, with that West Coast flavor. Third, Case 2, because, he's the king.
What? King of style.
4 is Catch 1, because I always did get down with his scenery letter style. Then I would probably go Bates because he got them letters and I feel like he can handle a little bit of everything. So describe the word flow in your opinion. Flow is a part of structure, you know, how all the letters are going to sit next to each other naturally. Whether you got a sharp style or a round style or completely weird, odd style, like if you got flow, everything's going to work together, everything's going to fit together naturally. You can't be out here talking like, man, my tag's got mad flow. But as soon as you look at it, it reminds you of 7 dudes sitting on each other's laps in the back of a small ass car. Like that shit look uncomfortable as fuck, homie. That ain't flow. Maybe even try looking at your tag as like your whole crew busting a production piece together. Every rider is its own entity, has its own style, and has its own strength. But we all follow the idea that the entire wall comes together as one large piece. I would say that goes the same for any tag with good flow. Every letter is its own thing, it's got its own style, but they all come together to form one good tag. Hey, yeah, I'm still here, motherfucker. Don't bother asking if I still write, because I never stop. My tag can be my smile or my mean mug. It's like a welcoming greeting to an old friend or a disrespectful fuck you. It's completely up to you which one you get. If and when I decide to stop writing graph, what do I want to be remembered by? Probably just that I was consistent in my bombing throughout my entire career. I know I'm not the dopest writer with the cleanest style, and I don't go out of the country to paint, so I'm not the most up out there. But I started in '93, and it's like the one thing that I never even thought much about stopping. I'll slow down when shit gets hot, yeah, sure. But it's outlasted anything material I ever had. It's outlasted any relationships or friendships I ever had. And even my longest friendships all started with graffiti, like all my crewmates and shit. Yeah, so probably just that I was consistent throughout the whole entire time. If I could travel anywhere to paint, where would I go and why? Well, if we're talking bombing, then maybe like Sao Paulo, Brazil or something, to go rock something like those fatty like Pisha Sal tags. Like I like how they do that shit, like climbing on the buildings and doing big ass roller tags. Like I'm with that shit. As far as painting goes though, like maybe go fuck with my homeboy LJ in South Africa. Like every time I see somebody out there painting and the local people, they look and they are like real interested right away. And then afterwards they see the painting and, you know, they just look really like appreciative. You know, they seem really happy. So I'd be down to go paint there. That would be tight. Describe what you think of your style and what you think others think of your style. Well, I would probably call my style a simple train style, you know, like something that's made for if you drive past and see it, or if it's on a train passing by. Like the object is to be big, legible, and with flavor. But you know exactly who did it when you see it, like bam, Rust, you know what I mean? And how others view it, well, they might switch the word simple train style to ugly train style. Especially them early train days, man, you know what I'm saying? The homies was letting me get away with some hurt shit. Nah, but for real, I did ask some of my crewmates like what they think, and one of the homies had this to say. Man, I'd say your style is your own and is always evolving, learning new techniques and shit. I would stress the fact that you were never big into biting from magazines and internet. Yo, man, definitely big up to Ace for the questions and always keeping it true with this graph shit, you know what I'm saying? Then I want to say props to my crew for always having my back, even when the shit ain't even about graph at all. My family for still claiming me after all my bullshit. And straight up, man, graffiti itself for saving another life, you know what I'm saying? Man, I can't give back enough for that, but man, I'm gonna keep giving until I'm gone, G. Straight up. Peace.
If you like what we're doing, hit a like and subscribe.